Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another live. I am here. Of course, my name is Sheryll with Project Purpose Podcast, and I am here with my lovely sister and business partner, Dawn Smith, who is a special guest always on this podcast. We love having her. Today we're going live, and we're just gonna just chat, about life and how we're coping, and we hope that we will hear from you. Before we get started though, Dawn, how are you? How you doing? Welcome.
Well, thank you. I am always very excited to be here. It's very hot in Jamaica. I don't know if it's hot where you are, but the
It
heat
actually
is
is.
on. The heat is on. But
It actually
I'm
is.
I'm doing incredible, Cheryl, and I'm feeling so absolutely blessed and free.
Well,
It's
you look
free is a key
amazing.
word.
You look
Thank you.
amazing. I love the whole tribal, exotic look going on. Looks very nice.
Thank you. I appreciate that too.
Are you hearing me clearly? And can you turn your can your camera go any louder? Your volume?
I am hearing you clearly. I am at 100%.
You are? That's okay. Maybe
Yes,
we can
yes.
adjust it later. Let me just make sure that it's not on my end.
Mm-hmm.
Say hello again.
Hello, 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 everybody.
Actually, it's way better. So it's so great. I turned my video camera volume up a little bit. So great stuff.
Okay.
So awesome. So yes, Dawn, welcome. Glad to hear you're doing great. Can't wait to get into this. But before we do, there's a special event today, right? You want to talk about it, or well, why don't you go ahead and
Oh,
talk about it, Dawn?
oh, yeah. Well, Wednesdays, it's every Wednesday is very special for me. So I fast on Wednesdays.
Actually, I'm
And
sorry, Dawn. Before you, I thought you were going to talk about Jamaica Independence Day.
oh, Lord. Well, happy independence, Jamaica. And we're very proud. Jamaicans are a proud people. And like we should, like we should. I think God has blessed this nation. And, as the world celebrates today, happy independence. Yeah.
Yes, yes, indeed. Happy independence to Jamaica. Such a small country, but is just known worldwide from the beaches, the food, the culture, the reggae music, Bob
Sure.
Marley, Hussein Bolt.
Everybody wants to be Jamaican.
Yeah,
Like today, I was thinking about college, and I went to college in New Jersey. And I remember that people would just try to be my friend just because I was Jamaican.
yeah,
And it was crazy. And then
yeah.
I became Caribbean Club president, and then we have other colleges that would come over to our college for all the activities that the Jamaican girl would put on. So we look a bit, but we follow.
Yes, yes, indeed. So definitely, thank you for reminding us about that. And so yes, so we're gonna go ahead and go right into it, Dawn. And first, we want to just welcome all the viewers that are seeing this right now. We know that we're expecting some family members to join. We're gonna call their names out, right? Your lovely husband should be coming on
Yes,
hopefully very soon,
yes,
and
yes.
even if they don't talk, we hope that they will just, listen in and give us some love. I hope my husband will be able to jump in as well, and
Mhm.
any other family members. But guys, it's really open to everyone. As you see this live, show us some love. Go ahead and talk to us, right? Let us know where you're seeing it from and listen for a little bit. And if there's one or two topics that resonate with you, would love to hear your feedback. So go ahead and talk to us. I have the chat here going. So if you talk to me, I will be able to see it and be able to comment, right? So, Don, yeah, earlier today we were talking and you mentioned that you were fasting.
Yes.
And I was just telling you how, commendable that is. And I wanted to hear your views on fasting, and the benefits. Why do you fast?
So why am I fasting in this season? It's actually 1 year. August 1 is actually 1 year since I've been intentional about fasting every Wednesday. And it started out of a conversation with my very good friend Carlos. we were talking one day just about life and where we both were in our life and our faith in God. So why is it that our faith in God is so strong, but we're not able to pull in some of the things that we desired? And so we started talking about the story in the gospel when the disciples couldn't cast out the demon out of a particular person. And when Jesus came and he cast it out. And then they asked, well, why couldn't we cast it out? And Jesus said, some things take fasting and prayer. And that resonated with me. And I've known the scripture, but that in that moment resonated with me that there's some things that we need, there's some spaces that we need to tap into that is going to take fasting and prayer. So that was my ultimate reason. And then, all the health benefits that come with fasting. It literally gives your system a chance to really, really do what it ought to do effectively. Because when you overflood your system, you're eating, it barely gets a chance to digest well. And so I realized that out of the fast, you feel better, you're clearer, and not to even mention the amount of miracles that came out of the fast. And it was never intended to go for a year. It was just, hey, let's just fast about certain situations. But so many miracles were happening. And I said, you know what? Maybe this is what God talks about. So it is intentionally now a part of my well being. So I fast on Wednesdays. In addition to my Wednesday fast, though, I'm very strict with my diet. So I don't eat before 10 o'clock and I don't eat after. And that's just something that I've been doing for years also. And the older you get, I think your body speaks to you sometimes. And we're wondering why we're so sluggish or why we're feeling the way we're feeling. Just give your reset. Take some time off, spend some time with you, spend some time with God and fast. Now I fast food, but people can also fast different things. Social media. There are people who spend hours on TikTok or wherever just scrolling. And that's time that could have been used to do something productive. And you know what, Sheryll? You can't get that time back. You can't get it back. So, some of the things that I encourage my clients to do, depending on what their struggles are, is to fast social media for one day per week. And you would be amazed at how improved that simple habit of improved their life. So, yeah, that's my reason for fasting.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. And I love that you segment into the fact that fasting is not just about from food, even though
Hmm.
most often that's what it is about. But you mentioned that it is also about taking a break from, social media. Also, other things that would include if you are a gamer,
Right.
and things like that. And you mentioned, sometimes you don't even have to necessarily do something else productive, but it's just to breathe. It's just to
Yeah.
be. It's just to be. And so that's pretty good.
Let me say this because this just jumped in my spirit. Many times, person disguise their traumas or their hurt or their pain or whatever they're carrying under busyness. So they always have to be doing something because the
Right.
minute you're not doing something, you have to face who you are. And many times we don't want to face who we are, right? So again, it is a great opportunity to just sit with yourself, get to know you, develop a deeper connection with your creator, right? Spend some time deep breathing. I mean, that in itself is just going to relax you and bring you back to center and help you to even regulate your emotions better. So
Yeah.
definitely it is an incredible um character, attitude, whatever you want to name it, to add to who you are.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. My hubby does fasting a lot. That's actually one of the reasons why I had invited him on the live, because He's trained his body so much where, especially like during Ramadan, he'll go from sun up to sundown, and whenever anyone that does it, I think also our other sister Shireen did it for a while as well, and it's really
Yeah.
commendable. Um, and it's definitely something that I would look into, as you mentioned, especially like just the one day,
Mhm.
and it just depends on where people are in their life. You did mention that it's for a season. Like for me right now, I know I'm trying to actually maintain a certain protein level, and so I have to be careful, how I fast. But hey, one day, one day won't hurt, right? Or even if it's just a couple of hours. No, like you guys, I stop eating from like 6 o'clock in the evening, and I don't eat again until
The next
around
day.
7 the next day. I don't
Yeah.
really wait till 10, but around 7 or so. So naturally, is that's what I
You
do.
fast, right?
Right. So I fast, but of course, I'm sleeping. So I'm not going through that discipline, right? Because that's what he does. When you mentioned the scripture and he said, do it, it comes with fasting and praying. um Fasting is not a walkover,
It's
and that's
not.
why I admire people that do it, because when you're truly doing it, right, when you know that you're honestly doing it, you're not cheating.
Right.
It does take a certain discipline, because your body needs to get used to that food, then your belly start talking, then it goes to your brain, and you're crazy. But once you do it, it's such an amazing feeling, because it's discipline. It's one of the areas that you're literally disciplining yourself.
It is discipline, and I know that there may be persons listening, so we don't want anybody to start a fast without the okay from their doctor if they have any underlying ailments. So
Sure,
just wanted to
sure.
throw that out there because we don't want anybody go getting sick because of something that we might say. So that's the disclaimer right there. If you have some form of health issues, make sure you talk to your doctor first. And so you don't necessarily, there's so many different ways to fast. You don't necessarily have to go without nothing, not even
All out,
water.
right?
Right. So I'll do coconut water. I mean, I live on a farm. There's coconut water. So when that hunger comes and your belly's rolling, I'll do some coconut water. So that will help me throughout the day. So I'm not starving per se. Right. So, there's different ways and means. And when people are just starting out, probably have a cup of tea in the morning, and after, let's say, about 4, 5, 6 hours, if you're really, 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 really hungry, have a fruit, have an apple or something. But it's the discipline. Here's the other great thing with that, Sheryll. When you become disciplined in that area of your life, it's amazing how it helps you to become disciplined in other areas, because there are so many people who stress eat, right? So you're not hungry, but you're
Yeah.
stressed. So you run towards food, and now food becomes your comfort. So it really, really can be a win-win situation for many persons.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. And as you mentioned, yes, we're not suggesting that anyone do it. It's totally up to you. We're just
Right.
putting it out there. And should you decide to do it, if you believe that you do have, underlying situations, you could always make sure you seek your doctor first. So thanks for sharing. And then we want to also talk a little bit about courage, right?
Mm.
Um, there's so much going on now. There's so much going on, and we are just confused. We are seeking answers. We're not sure where to look, and we are losing hope and courage. And I had asked you off camera, and I want you to talk about it again and give me your answer. Is fear the opposite of courage?
No, no, actually, courage is doing the thing despite the fear you feel. So many persons who have accomplished great things will tell you how fearful they were, but they did it anyway. All right. You talk about lack of hope. The Bible says that hope differs make the heart sick. And you're right. Many hearts are sick right now because of the lack of hope. with everything that is going on in the world right now. So it takes courage, it takes community. This is the time when no one needs to be an island. This is that time. If there was ever a time, this is that time when you need to become a part of a community. Even what we're doing right now, is a part of a community for me. So there are persons out there who they are afraid of the unknown because fear doesn't exist in the moment. Just think about that. Fear does not exist in the moment.
Right.
Fear
Fear
exists
is
in
the
the past,
future.
it's the past or the future,
Yeah.
right? Because it's something that had happened already. You can become so fearful that that thing is going to
Repeat
repeat,
itself.
right? That you continue to live in fear. But again, I mean, this is not a we're not preaching gospel on here, but Christ is the foundation of who I am. So I'm always going to raise that banner. The Bible says, I did not give you a spirit of fear, but of love, of power, and of a sound mind.
But why are
The
so many
word
why
of
are so
God.
many Christians still so fearful though, Dawn?
Brilliant question, Sheryl. And I'll even go further to say this. Almost 90% of the clients that I see who are of Christian, Christian base come to me for anxiety and fear. You see, we have to understand the mind is going to always try to protect us. So most of the time, you try to do something and it feels unfamiliar. The mind is going to tell you, don't do that, don't do that, don't, right? And so a lot of time we see the thing that doesn't even exist. Fear, false evidence appearing real. Most of the time, the things you fear never come to fruition. And again, we have to understand the plan of the enemy. The plan of the enemy is to kill, steal, deceive, deceive. And so, how are how can you deceive someone who belongs to God? You're going to get to their mind. It is with the mind that we serve the Lord. So if the enemy is going to get to you, he's going to get to your mind. And this is why it is always a struggle with good thoughts and bad thoughts. And this is why it is so important that we're understanding how to take captive of those thoughts that are not good for us, because you can change your life with your thought, or you could make yourself sick with your thought. So I really hope somebody grabbed that tonight. I really do hope somebody grabbed that tonight, because there's enough external factors out there right now to make everybody fearful.
Yes. I'm getting me a sip of water.
I should have brought my water. Yeah,
Or I thought you were gonna bring your tea.
I was, but I was trying to be dolled up for you,
And,
but I didn't get to. It
well,
was
thank
either
you.
it was either the tea or some makeup on my.
But on a serious note, oh my goodness, that fear is like how, you mentioned that this is a community and I love it. It is a channel that we can use to bring awareness. And again, guys, if you're just tuning in and you're seeing this live, welcome, join us. My name is Sheryll. I'm here with my lovely sister Dawn, and we're just talking about life. Life be lifing. Um,
Yes.
they have, that they say that that's the, younger generation term, right? I hope we're allowed to use it. But what that simply means is that so many things are going on, right? And oftentimes, if you're not careful, you're thinking that it's only in your life. But the reason why they say life be lifing is because as we start to converse with others, we're like, you too, for real. And so there's just so many things going on, more than ever, right? But this whole thing about courage
Yeah.
is just so powerful. I just feel like I want to stay there a little bit more, because the reality is, if we could find a way to get past the fear, life is so much better on the other side. And it is what we desire. But yet the fear is more powerful and keep us stuck.
I'm going to share something with you. I used to teach at JDF. So during COVID and I shut down the school. Um, I was teaching at JDF, the Jamaica Defense Force. And so, as an instructor there, we were allowed to use the facility. So, I wanted to learn how to swim. Okay. So, as an adult, I didn't know how to swim. And I learned everything. I did so well to the point that they wanted to recruit me to become a lifeguard, except I would not go in the deep. If I could not stand up in the water, I would not go out there. And the trainer, the coach keeps saying to me, Mom, you have to understand that it is easier to swim in the deep. And I'm like, are you crazy? And if something go wrong, I can't stand up? You must be out of your mind. So I Googled it. Here's what happened. The deeper the water, the longer the waves get to come back up to the surface. So it gives you a longer push.
Recovery, right.
If right, if
A little bit more time to keep going up.
to keep right, right. And finally one day I said, is the paramedics here? And they said it's parked on site. So because I now know the paramedics was here, I decided, okay, I have to do trot. I have to learn how to trot. You have to trot for 2 minutes. I decided if you stay in the water with me, I will trot in the deep. Sheryll, it was the easiest thing I've done. And all this time, I was so afraid because I could not stand up in the water. Why am I sharing the stories? Well, storytell. I mean, it sells. Most of the time, people can relate when you tell the stories and when you share your own experiences. Courage is not easy. It's not, because you're going against the wave. That's what courage is. It's sending you downstream and you want to go upstream. It takes courage. But if you just make up your mind, because that's what it takes, it first takes a mindset. You ever see a child that make their mind up about doing something? You can't stop them. You can't stop them. But we have been so deceived with our wrong way of thinking that we have failed to recognize that as a man think, so is he. And so many persons have never lived out their divine purpose because of fear.
Yes, it is so true. And then, we sometimes unconsciously or sometimes even consciously admire those who have the
The
boldness,
courage, yes.
the courage,
Yeah.
and it's like, what gives them the courage? Like, I know you talk about that mindset, but if we can, it's like, how do we encourage ourselves? I know for me, I've got my own stories to share and I'm still going through it. And that's a thing about life too, is that you'll never be 100% fearless about
Mhm,
everything, right?
mhm.
There's going to be different levels of fear that you have to overcome. So I know personally right now I'm going through mine, different struggles and trying to still, push towards the destination anyhow. But I'm trying to speak today to those that refuse to take the chance, like you said, refuse to go in the deep, knowing and people on the outside looking in, knowing that they can be do it and that they will be okay. And if they only see the other side, but we're somehow not getting through to them to really make them take that leap, you know?
Um, Man, that is such a great question and statement. So you ever hear the statement, two different brothers, two brothers, two different minds, two different attitudes? We will see two people being put in the same situation, and one use that as an antidote to succeed, and one use it as the reason why they cannot succeed. And
Yeah.
so, we all are born with different personalities and different tenacities and emotional agility. And most of the time, when persons don't take that chance, it's because they're not emotionally agile. And again, the Bible, in Peter, it says, think it not strange when the fiery trials come upon you. I think two mistakes we make in life. One is that once you become a Christian, life is going to be so perfect. God is just going to fix everything. You're going to have all the money you want in the world, and you have no work to do, right? And the second, oh, as long as I get married, I'm okay, right? Two myths we make. Too wrong, totally wrong. The Bible says, think it not strange when the fiery trials come up on you. But Jesus also said, look, I overcame the world. And because I overcame, you can overcome too. But you see, Sheryll, it takes somebody who also have a belief in a higher being, whatever you call that. For me, it's God. But whatever you call that, it's going to take somebody who has a belief in that higher being that this can be so, right? Um, the word of God is truth, and the truth is what will set you free. But many persons, we don't study, so we don't know the truth. So the first little breeze, you have some people who say, boy, my immune system is so bad that the first breeze that blow, I'm gonna catch cold. So it's like some persons, the first little breeze blow on them, they fall to pieces. But look at those stories in the Bible. I mean, that set the foundation right there. Look at Joseph. Let's use Joseph, all right? And so we all know Joseph is the favorite son, and his dad gave him a coat of many colors, right? And then his brothers got jealous because he was dreaming dreams and he was telling them the dreams. Even his father got so mad at him to say, what? You're telling me that I'm going to have to bow to you one day? This little boy, 17 years old, just had a dream and he was just telling them. So they got jealous. They took his coat, killed an animal, put blood all over it to tell the dad that he died. But what they did, they took him, throw him in a ditch. So his half brother, who him and that brother, Benjamin, they're from the same mom, he said, you know what? Let's take him out and sell him to the Midianites who were passing. Poor boy, no, not But here what happened? They sold him to the Midianites. So they threw him in a ditch, sold him to the Midianites. He got to Egypt. What did the Midianites do? Sell him again in Egypt, right? He worked his way up until he, started working high positions. And then what happened? Pharaoh's wife lied on him because he wouldn't sleep with her. So she grabbed him. There goes that coat again. She grabbed him and he backed off the coat and ran, held on to the coat, told her husband, oh, the man you put in charge tried to rape me. Now he's back in prison. In prison, there was a baker and a cook, something I don't remember, but they had dreams and he was able to interpret their dreams. The dreams came through. They got out. He said to them, remember me when you come out. Pretty much kind of put in a good word for me. He was left forgotten until, Sheryll, until the king had a dream and he didn't want to tell them what the dream was. He wanted somebody to tell him what he dreamt and then the meaning of the dream. Now, you only have to be a mind reader or get that from God himself. That's when they remember that there was a man in prison who told us our dream. So Joseph was able to tell the king his dream and what it meant, and it came to fruition. So Joseph was now elevated to prime minister. Now, look at courage. He did nothing wrong. He was just being a good person. Look at all the things that happened to him. But guess what happened? Later, famine came in Canaan. They had to go where for food? Egypt. Guess who is now the prime minister of Egypt? Joseph, their brother, the one that they thought they killed. Joseph now turned around and provided food for his family. Now they moved over. That's how we now have the children of Israel in Egypt. That's how they got there. That's how it started. So Why am I sharing this story? I'm sharing this story because every time I feel down, it's one of my go-to. But all these things happen, but Joseph never gave up because what? He believed in God. He believed in the word of God. And when you believe, when you don't have something that you believe in, you're going to fall for anything. And that's what is happening to a lot of people. We read the word, we read the books, we hear the speakers, but do you believe? Do you believe? Because the subconscious mind is only going to give you those things that you believe. So whether it's good or bad, you decide. And this is why I encourage person. The Bible says again, boy, it's really Bible tonight. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Sure, everything that we need to survive was already written for us over 2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
So I'm encouraged somebody tonight. It doesn't matter what is going on in your life. You are equipped with everything that you need already without external factors to achieve what you have been called to achieve. So take courage to do that next step. The thing is that somebody, let's say you're a singer, you have a great voice. Many persons don't want to go take music lessons. They don't want to apply for the jobs. They don't want to get a coach. They don't. So you don't want to be the work. You just no. We have to do the work, and that's where many people fail. They don't want to do the work because the
So
work, yeah, the work is not. It's not easy. It's easy to get up 5 o'clock every morning talking about you having devotion, and then you're gonna go run for 2 miles, and then you're gonna go work out. You think it's easy to fast? You think it's easy to try to read a book every week? No, it's not easy, but it is the simple disciplines that now create the success that you want.
okay, Pastor Don.
Pastor?
Thank you so much for sharing that. But and so to piggyback off that,
Yeah.
as I believe, know what you believe in,
Yeah.
and challenge yourself, so to speak. Do I really believe? But also, what I am learning, one of my personal um, lessons as it pertains to courage, is to take action,
Yes.
to take the action.
Yes.
And
Yes.
the more you do, you just, and it can be a small one, right? Sometimes, which is another fear, we might tend to think, oh, I need to go from 0 to 100 right away. But train yourself to take that small step. And the step could very well be to first research it, like you mentioned in the beginning of this topic. You mentioned how a lot of us just don't the body is holding us back. The body is telling us, oh, that's wrong. The fear is not present, it's not at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we decide to take the step, which is to even challenge the fear, to even say, let me research that, like you mentioned, like you did with the swimming,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I want to move on, but I really want to encourage people out there that are feeling fearful, and within your heart that you
Yeah.
should be making moves, right? Whether it's regarding your career, relationships, it could be as close as family relationships,
Oh yeah.
family
Oh yeah.
dynamics,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you know that the only way out of this is to probably move and separate yourself, right? And you're still feeling fearful, and every year is repeating the same thing, nothing is changing. Then start your research. That is a part of action. And as you learn more, you start researching, will I drown if I go? Where do I drown? How deep is the water? Then you're starting to become more confident. You're like, oh, okay, it's not as bad as you thought. But you have to take that action. So someone might ask, how do I become more courageous? How do I become less fearful? Start taking action in that thing which you
Small.
are trying to accomplish.
Small things, Sheryl. If we start with small steps and we accomplish that, it motivates you to try
Right.
something,
Yeah.
to try something else. And let me just share this. This just come up to my remembrance, and I've never shared this publicly. When I left America to go to school, I got to Miami International Airport, and I wasn't sure where I was staying that night. But I figured the airport is open 24 hours. So worst case scenario, till I figured it out, I had two phone numbers. Now, being very naive, we know Jamaica, you can just show up at people yard and whatever. The one number I first called was one of my family members, and he said, "Cuz I am 5 hours away from you, and I leave work at 11 o'clock tonight, which means I can't get you until tomorrow." But in my head, I am here. I don't have any money to stay on campus, and I am going to finish school. I don't know where I got the courage, or maybe it was the poverty that pushed me, because I did not like it. I still do not like poverty. I don't like it. Um, and I think that was my boldest step ever in my life. I was 17 years old. 17 years old. And you know what? I accomplished all the things that I set out to do. And this is not bragging. This is encouraging somebody that take the action. I only got to go to college overseas because I had the courage to speak up. Because that's not another thing. You expect people to just come and read your mind and know what you need and know that you need help. No, speak up. Of course, to the right people. Not gonna chat your business to everybody, but speak up. So I had an opportunity to say I would love to go to America to study fashion, and that's all. I had the conversations, and the rest from there. So, guys, if you're listening, do not allow fear to hold you back. You can achieve anything you set yourself out to. Anything you set yourself out to.
Yes, yes, thank you. I agree. That topic was so, it was long because it was and still is well needed, and I really hope that they take something away from it. I know I do, just to continue to take more action. So we're going to move into another topic which is equally concerning.
Yeah.
Again, especially because of today's economy, and because I'm doing a recording on it for the podcast, and I thought I'll just get your views a little bit on the topic. And it's the money on the mind, and it's the scarcity mindset versus the abundance mindset. And I shared my story in the episode, which should be aired soon, but
Mhm.
I want to share it here as well. I caught myself being in the scarcity mindset when I'm putting my packages together. As you know, I do help clients create their websites, um, their pen sites account. You have a beautiful one. um, Content creation, credit repair, things like that. And as I was pricing it, I find myself limiting my price, even though I did my research and what the
Mhm.
price should be. And I caught myself saying to myself, people can't afford this price. People can't afford this price.
Mhm.
And then a friend had called right away while I was in that and was telling me all these things that they were getting, and I was like, but they're buying other stuff. And I share that to say sometimes we're not even aware of it, our deep underlining philosophies regarding money, which stems from childhood. I'm sure you will agree, based on how you were brought up, your environment,
Yeah.
and the home's value and philosophies regarding money. So sometimes you just mentioned you don't like poverty. Sometimes we are in a period where we're broke. It's not necessarily that we're broke, but it's our thoughts towards money that brings us there. What are your views on that?
Well, you're absolutely correct. You're never going to achieve anything you don't think you deserve. Let's just clear that up. And man, I am so thank you, Sheryll. Thank you for this conversation. because I think many people need this conversation tonight, like myself. Um, the scarcity mindset. I was doing a study on Booker T. Washington and Tuskegee University, and that led me into thinking about, wow, so if you have been owned all your life, remember you're owned, you're a thing. So you don't know how to have a house, you don't know how to, you don't know money, you don't know how to spend money, you have
Manage
never been,
money.
you have never been taught none of those things because you have been a commodity for somebody all your life. And now you're free. You're free. What do you do? And there's no theory. I don't know if there's a theory, but when I think about this, especially for us, for our color, I feel like we still live in this enslaved mentality where we consume to show the white man that, hey, we have money now, we're as good as you, and we consume because it was never broken down and taught to us from generations to generations to generations. Um, if you, well, I'm sure you know about the Jews.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so they're God's chosen people. They expect to be wealthy. It's not a if or maybe. This is something that they believe is theirs. I'm a Jew. I'm expected to be wealthy. I've never met a poor Jew. I don't know if I've never met one. I'm not saying they don't exist, but I've never met one. So their mindset, because they expect to be wealthy, their the way they handle money and wealth
Opportunities and
and,
businesses.
it's different. It's different. There's nobody that's just trying to get the latest Jordans. Nothing wrong with the Jordans. Let me just throw that out there. But I'm just
Yeah.
saying, when you have, an XK8 Jaguar and you have all the fancy cars now, and you have to park it on the street, like I'm not sure that makes so much sense to me. So I am saying that we have not sat down with our own and say, you can achieve this and you are worthy of this. Here's the flip side also. I got baptized from I was 15 years old. And I think the teachings in the church almost make it seems like it's humbling and it's godly to be poor. I do not support that. Because when I read the Bible, Abraham, Job, all these people, they were wealthy. They were wealthy. The Bible says the borrower, you're a slave. You're a slave to the lender. And so many people have misunderstand money and the importance of money and how to manage money because of how we view it. And we don't think that we can create wealth. Back to JDF again. So, of course, I told you I was teaching at JDF during COVID. I taught entrepreneurship. Now,
Get out of here. You did?
yes, 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 that's what I taught. Yes, for like 2 years. I taught entrepreneurship to the soldiers. Now, one morning, a soldier was late. And I said, what's up? And he was upset, something to do with his money and whatever. So I said, well, do you have an investment? And he says this, respect grave, investment. Are rich people do them something there? Rich white people do them something there? And he laughed and said, know where we come from. I guess we come from. And I said, Don, what an opportunity. So you know what I did? I wrote a letter and asked permission to get my banker on the property. And she accepted first, and then I got the approval and the pass because getting on there. So I got the passes. So when word got out that my class, which was 110, I had this guest come in, I was asked, can we join the classes? So I had 330 soldiers hearing about investments for the first time, and that you can even start with $5,000 Jamaican dollars. That's about $30 US. Nobody taught them that, but guess what they were taught? Buy one taxi, buy one pro box, and put one taxi on the road. Those are the things. So when it mash up, taxi man mash it up and scam you and all sort of something because of the mindset, because we don't think that we can be wealthy.
Yeah.
That was one situation, sure. There's another situation. I was talking to one of the soldiers. I said, talk to me about your dreams and your vision. Why are you here? Why are you here? So we got into talking, and, you know, he never believed that he can start a business. It's just, you know, or that he could buy a house. So I broke it down on the board. I said, you're 22 years old now. If you take out an NHT loan, which you're qualified for, you're getting at least 40, 45 years to pay that off. Try me trying to get the same amount of mortgage now. I get 10 years, so that it's 5 times
Right.
what,
The payment is
what it's going to be.
quadrupled.
All right.
Yeah.
Sheryl, it's the simple things. It's, look here, ensure that you're paying your NHD, ensure that you're putting aside some money. The richest man in Babylon, he spoke about this 10 steps. You can read the book in 1 hour, and you still
Yes.
can't
And
even
keep
get
reading.
some people to read the book.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
people just want you to give them the money. I
Yeah.
could give you the money. I could give you $1 million right now. And if you don't have $1 million mindset, in 1 month,
So
that money
true.
will be right back in somebody else's hand. So we need to first understand that you are worth it. You are worth an amazing life. America's so hot now. I wish there was air conditioner in every room and you don't have to worry about the light bill. You
Right.
understand? That's what money
Right.
does. It frees you.
Right.
It gives you better opportunities. A young lady today needed therapy, man. And I'm thinking, I can't tell her she can't come when she needs my help. I want to be wealthy. So I can at least say, you know what? My foundation will sponsor 10 sessions for you. That's what money does. And we need to understand that money is not supposed to be selfish. It is supposed to create better experiences. And the Bible again says, a wise man leave an inheritance for his children. I'm not even thinking about my children no more. I'm thinking about my great grandchildren. That's where my mindset is. And these are the conversations we have to keep having, because the more we hear it, one of these days, somebody's going to stop and say, wait, let me listen to what a lady there said. I started DeMarie Institute with $0 on a business. $0. I knew how to do makeup. And I'd worked for Clinique and I'd worked for Estee Lauder. And I knew how to do makeup. And I went to my friend, Pastor Johnson, and I said, can I rent a classroom? He has a prep school. And he said, rent classroom, you think America, you did? And I told him what I wanted, and he said, look here, go choose one classroom, and anyone you feel is good enough, just go and use the classroom. You know what I did, Sheryll? I typed up information, print it out myself at the printer at home, regular paper, my name, my phone number, offering makeup courses. And you know what I did? Dawn, walk. I took a taxi to the plaza, Spanish Town Plaza at the time, and I walked to every salon in there, every salon, every nail shop, every barber shop, and I introduced myself and I handed them the paper. Went to another space where there was plaza. So what I did, I first looked up all the plazas in Spanish Town, make a list of the plazas, and I did the work. I took action. I went. The first day came and one girl showed up. True story. One girl showed up. Girl, I could have do backflip because me have school now. Me have students. She paid me $6,500. She said, Miss, at this because I didn't put a cost on it. Like you, I didn't know what to price it. So she gave me the $6,500. You know what I did with that money? I got some professional business cards now. And I went into Kingston. And I went into the plazas in Kingston. So by the time I was ready for our next cohort, guess what happened? I had 4 students. Sheryll, DeMarie has always been about word of mouth. We have had second, third generation at DeMarie because when babies were coming with their mothers, they now grew up, graduated high school, and knew that they wanted to come DeMarie. We were able to graduate and certified internationally over 3,000 of Jamaica's beauticians to other countries were sending their students to Jamaica to be under my tutelage. Let me tell you something. We have to get up and stop thinking, I don't have this, I don't have that, I can't do this. Do the work. I didn't care who was looking at me. I didn't have a car when I moved back to Jamaica. I didn't care who was looking at me. I know the dream that I have. And I believe that the dream was possible if I did my part. Sorry.
Wow. Wow, Dawn, you're so passionate about it. I know you have so much to say, so much to share, and you are indeed a world of knowledge and impact. And I'm looking forward to being a guest on your podcast or live because you've got so much to say.
All
Really,
I don't
really.
need a podcast when my sister have a podcast.
Well, there
Trust
you
me.
go. We may need to come up with some business agreement here for real. But on a
Yeah,
serious note,
yeah.
we're almost on the hour. But guys, if you are just joining us, listen. That was so powerful. That was so powerful with Dawn sharing her story and how she started her business in a third world country,
Mhm.
right? Limited resources,
No,
and she
no.
was still able to get it done.
Yeah.
And she's sharing her stories because we had touched a little bit on the topic money mindset, scarcity versus abundance, and she shared how she did it, how you take action. And so that's going to be ongoing. If you're seeing this live again, be sure to just take a few moments to listen to it, to watch it, to share it with others, right?
Mhm.
To leave us a comment so that Facebook can continue to push it to even more and more. There's so much that you talked about, Dawn, regarding that money mindset. When you talk about the Jews and how they are brought up, because they still are,
Mhm.
versus the enslaved man, and how because for so many years he was owned instead of being a owner.
Right. Right.
um, but that has been 400 years ago,
Yes. Yes.
and we are still carrying so much of those symptoms, so much of those mental philosophies when it comes to money. And you are so right. The biggest one is we somehow do not believe that we are worthy of it.
Mhm.
And so we teach our kids that, because again, just to share my little story and then we're gonna really move on, is you and I, we grew up in the same household. And we also know it's not just our household. We know that it was many households like that, where all you hear about money was that it's never enough. We don't have it. Where do you expect me to get it from? I
From
can't, you
yeah.
cannot
Yeah.
get that. We won't buy that. You cannot go there. You cannot
And
put
some of
that
the
back in the
time, yeah,
supermarket.
you already know. You already know.
You're
Say,
programmed.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
programmed. And then now you bring that to your generation, even when you're making money. Even when you're making money, one of the saddest things that I see, and I don't like it, I see it with, family members. Oftentimes, it used to be with me before I become awoke,
Mhm.
where you have your money cannot even stay in your account for like 2 days, 3 days. So it's because we still unconsciously is governing our money based off our past philosophies and
Experiences.
our
Yes.
environment regarding money, our relationship with money. So we send it away as soon as it come to us, because unconsciously we think we don't deserve it. We don't invest, like you mentioned. We don't look into getting life insurance, proper health insurance, things that are intrinsic value. We don't make long-term decisions, and we could go on and on. We're going to continue with this topic. It's such an important topic because we need to normalize it. That's
Yes.
another thing. No one wants to talk
Yes.
about money, and it's most often when you don't have it, right? It's which end up keeping us, right? It's broke individuals that I don't want to talk about money. But if we don't talk about it, we're going to continue to stay in that same positions. So we need to get out of it. And so
Wow.
I
Do you
opened that up, but I
know?
just know we need to continue with this topic.
And I hope that one of the podcasts will be about this specifically.
Yes.
I want to share this before we move on. Are you familiar with Lisa Nichols? I might have
Yes, we
mentioned
talked
her
about her.
on.
Yes, yes, I know
Right.
her.
So Lisa Nichols say that she said we know how to make money, but we were not taught that it's okay to keep money, right?
Right. Right.
And her story was literally one of the stories that lifted me up when I was going through my divorce. It was just that period was just so tough, and you're trying to make life on your own. But here's a part of the story that got me. She said she recognized that the people that she was working with, they could take vacations and they could do certain things. So she decided that she was going to change her story. So she went to the bank and she opened up an account, and she named the account Fund My Dream, right? And people can go look up her story.
No, it's a powerful
It's
story.
on
Yeah.
YouTube. Right. She said, fund my dream. So what she starts, and then what she did, she took on another job. So she's doing the jobs, and so from one part-time job, she stopped doing her nails, she stopped doing her hair, and she decided that she is going to save that money. So she was just putting, and she would not open up the statements because she didn't want to know what was in
The
there.
balance. Yes.
Here's the statement. She said, my mama always said this money's making her pocket hot. And she says, I didn't want my pocket to be hot. So I
Yeah.
did not want to
Yeah.
know what was in there until about 2 or 3 years into saving. She went to the bank and said, let me go see what's in there. And she had 6 to 7 thousand something something. And she was like, you see how they write it down and push it under. And she said to the lady, ma'am, no, my name is Lisa. Da da da. This is my
Whatever her
social.
middle name is,
Right, right. This is not
Nichols.
my money. This
That's
is not my money. Take it back. Give me back mine.
yes.
And she said,
Yes.
until I started crying because everybody in the bank wanted to know what is the dream because everybody would have cashed a check for
Yeah.
her. But she said she would send the check saying, fund my dream. So I'm going to encourage somebody. If you're in the US and you probably can start with $5 a week, $5 a week, and you can hide it in an account somewhere, start there. Start there because your dream is possible. We just have to get to the place where we know, like we know, like we know that we deserve it.
Yes, totally agree. And you're absolutely right. There is really no excuses. So that's how we know that it is the mindset, right? Some people might say, oh, I don't make enough. So that's the discipline of the money. Oh, I can't save because I don't make enough. I can barely pay my bills, right?
Right.
When I get rich, I'll start doing this, right? But we're talking about managing the small amount because listen, and I think you mentioned this earlier. If you do not know how to manage $10,000, you will not know how to manage 100,000.
No, you won't.
And the way you spend the 10 is the same way you'll spend the 100,000. Trust me. That's why many people that win the lottery
Yeah,
always
man.
after a few
Broke.
months it
Broke.
went right back to where that lid comes right back
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
their financial thermostat did not grow. Your financial mindset did not grow with you getting that
That
million
money.
dollar.
Right. Right.
Right. And so we will continue the conversation. As a matter of fact, I think throughout the month of August, the rest of the weeks, the podcast is going to be about money. We'll be talking about what accounts to open, the different apps that are available. So many things are available to us right now. Resources are available. And we also need to get comfortable in talking about money, talking
Yeah.
about budgeting, investing, uh, knowing good debt from bad debt, right?
Right. Right.
Making long term decisions as opposed to buying the latest material things, as you mentioned, to show that we're rich. We spend all our money pretending to be rich to
Mm-hmm.
show off on people who are just as broke as us,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
we have to stop that. I thank you for sharing, Dawn, your passion in all the topics. We talked about the courage, and we also talked about the money. And I'm telling you, you were just blowing. And we appreciate you sharing your real stories and bringing out such power and such passion with what you do. We thank you for serving the community, and I'm just always honored to be on here with you. Sometimes I don't really feel like doing, going live because I feel naked without you. I went on live today, and I didn't stay long. I was like, let me get off. So we're gonna wrap this up. Believe it or not, it's over an hour. But before we do tell us a little bit about what are you up to? What's going on? I know you're planning some events coming up.
Yes, so I live on a farm, as you know, and we've been doing 1 day retreats. Soon, by 2027, let me just throw this out in the universe. By 2027, our cabins will be done and people could actually stay over. But for now, we're doing 1 day retreats where persons can just get to come and unwind and rejuvenate. There is a workout session with a certified trainer. There is a mental wealth workshop. The next one is actually September 27. And this one, we're going to do breakout sessions to separate after we have met with, both genders. We're going to separate. It's also a space for men to be men, games. There's dominoes, there is Ludi and chess and all kinds of games. And of course, you can't have these things without really, really great food. Pick a coconut jelly from the property. Just it's just a day for you to unwind and rejuvenate. And I think you deserve to give that to yourself. You're worth it. You're worth it. It's only $50 US. So the flyer is posted everywhere. The link is posted. Persons just book online. You pay online, and there's limited space available. So really, really, it's first come first serve. So husband, if you are seeing this, book for you and your spouse, and wife, if you're seeing this, book for you and your husband. And if you're a woman and you're seeing this and you have a girlfriend, grab your girlfriends and book together, because I realize that these things, they're better they're better
They really are.
experience when
They
it's
really are.
shared
In
with
twos,
someone that you love and value. And
in
so
pairs.
our
They're
group,
better
our group,
experience in pairs. Our
yes,
our group,
our
our group.
group,
If
our
you
group.
have, if you're a mom and you have, teenage daughters,
Right,
right? Make
right.
it a day, and all three of
Yeah.
you, all
The
three of
last
you
one
or
we
four of
had
you.
a father daughter. It was a father daughter
Lovely,
day,
lovely.
So we're really excited about this. And first of all, the property is just absolutely amazing. Just even entering the property, you already feel at peace. The gardens are beautiful, the flowers are absolutely gorgeous. And, there's a lot of herbs and stuff that people always, we give them things to take back with them. So really looking forward to an amazing event. Again, it's September 27. And if
I
you
will
have not
leave the link. I
the
will
link,
leave the link,
okay,
and
perfect.
you have my permission to put the link in the live as well, right? We can put it on the
I
live
don't
when
know
we're
where to
done.
put that. I
In
don't.
comment, in just in comment. Not now, but when you're doing a
Oh, okay.
comment on there, you can
Oh,
put
this
it,
right. I'm still learning this technology.
and I will put a comment as well. I will post it on my page, and
Right, right.
I so everyone, you can follow Dawn. Again, I will leave it in there, but it is Soulful Serenity. JA
Jay.
is her Instagram handle, right? Soulful Soulful,
Serenity.
just like it sounds, soulful. The word serenity, JA, and you'll find Dawn there. But like I said, we'll put that information in the comments as well as we go back and listen to this, and we'll make notes. But great stuff, Dawn. Looking forward to hearing great reviews about that, like the last time.
Yes.
I know you had a successful event the last time, and I know this will be equally as successful. So thank you for sharing with us. And for those of you who might not know, well, based on her passion, you may be wondering, who she is and what she does. She is actually a licensed associate psychologist. How do you word it? You take it away.
I am a psychologist, but because I practice at the master's level, you're considered an associate. So that's what it is.
Okay.
I'm a licensed psychologist.
Yes.
I have double masters, so I do clinical psychology and I also do forensic psychology. And I do
Awesome.
many things. I'm an educator. I lecture at the university, of course, in psychology. And I'm a lover of people. That's it. I love people. And I spend my everyday helping people become better. And let me just put this plug right here. I think we still have this stigma around therapy, but therapy really, really is helping you to navigate life stressors. That's all it is. Today, you know what a client and I did? Budgets. That's what we did, right? We use AI to help her develop a business plan. That's what we did in our therapy session. So our therapy sessions, they are non-judgmental and it's not one size fits all. We cater a treatment plan that is going to help you um, achieve the desires and the dreams and the dreams that you have for
Yeah.
your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome, guys. So, again, if you're seeing this live and you or someone you know is looking to, get professional counseling, definitely reach out to Dawn. You can DM her or myself, right?
Yeah.
And I will forward the information to her. As you know, as you see the name here on the screen, this is Project Purpose Podcast. And I will be putting this as an episode so that people can go back and listen to it, and just share it, and rewind and listen again, and hopefully you were able to get some nuggets from this. I know I did. And we want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel, to the podcast, and make sure that you're also following us on Facebook, both of us, because as you can see, we pop up for live anytime and we can talk about anything. Right, we can talk about anything. Today we talked about fasting, which is amazing. We talked about courage, and we also talked about money mindset, and then we share what we're doing. So thank you so much for spending time with us. Thank you for being here. My hubby's in the kitchen. Hi, you want to come say hi?
Hi.
Come over, come say hi. He won't come over, but he said hi.
Hi.
Hi. Anyway, Dawn, thank you so much, my love, for being with me. You're awesome as usual. I can't wait. Let's do this again tomorrow. Just kidding you.
I have a job, I have a job.
Thank you
I
so much for
think,
sharing. Any
yeah.
final tip before we let you go?
Just for the person who may be listening or know somebody who is still struggling with fear and unworthiness, you don't need to suffer alone. So, as Sheryll said, DM us. Let me help you. Let
Yes.
me help you.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much, my love. You have a wonderful evening. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your support. Bye for now. Catch you in the next live. Bye, Dawn.
Bye. Bye.